About a year ago, I discovered that I was allergic to wheat, soy, and dairy, and I thought I couldn't eat anything. But over time, as I did my research, I realized that there are a lot of options for people like me. So starting off with breakfast, the most important part of the day. So usually my breakfast is pretty simple. I just start off with a sweet potato and some fruit. I find that the sweet potato fills me up and gives me a lot of energy throughout the day without making me crash like other grains. So I actually got my period that day and I was having some pretty bad cramps. So my mom was gracious enough to make this ginger coconut milk that I love to drink whenever I'm on my cramps because it makes them go away right away. So next up is lunch, and because I'm allergic to wheat, I rely a lot on rice products. So I had these rice cakes from H Mart and they're so yummy. And you'll see throughout the video that I have a bit of a sweet tooth. So naturally I had to get some desserts after lunch. These are amazing allergen-free baked goods from this place called Sensitive Sweets in LA that my boyfriend got for me. And they're amazing. They taste just like the real thing. Finally, we have dinner, and it's a very traditional Cantonese dinner, I would say. A lot of these things I eat pretty regularly, and the thing I love the most about Cantonese food is there's always a wide selection of proteins and vegetables to choose from every day, so I always get the nutrients that I need. Surprise, surprise, I am eating a sweet potato again for breakfast, and of course supplemented with some berries. I made sure to hydrate before starting work, and I always keep a thermos on my desk so I could refill my tea whenever I have a minute between meetings. I snack a lot during the day, and one of my favorite snacks is this Molly Bee's chocolate chip brownie bites from Whole Foods. They're allergen-free besides eggs, and personally I'm fine with eggs, so I love having these as a quick snack between meetings. Super rich dark chocolate always gets me every time. As I said before, I have a sweet tooth, so I decided to go for a second snack later in the afternoon, and once again I am having some sensitive sweets. My boyfriend definitely got a lot more than I could possibly eat as one person, so I decided to share some with my mom as well, and she obviously loved it. Okay, this day I was really piling on the sugar because I had this homemade coconut agar jelly that's so good because it's made from real coconuts. For dinner, I had one of my favorite foods, roast pork and bitter melon. And I know bitter melon is an acquired taste that's quite controversial, but since I grew up eating it, I've always loved it and never had a problem with it. Again, for breakfast, I had a sweet potato, and because I had a pretty packed day, I just quickly ate and started my meetings. After about a couple hours of work, I started getting bored and decided to go grab a snack in the kitchen, which is pretty much my workout for the day. And of course, you could probably guess the snack that I grabbed, Sensitive Sweets. I was under time pressure to finish this box within 1-2 weeks because it could go bad, so I had to steadily eat my way through the stash. My snack choice of the day is this dark chocolate donut. It was decadent but a little bit frozen. For lunch, I had rice noodles. As I said, I can't eat any wheat, so rice is the go-to. And I just added some roast pork and bok choy on top of the noodles for a simple meal. I think it's all angels just walk by. Roast pork hits the spot every single time. 'Cause aside from my soul, dinner, I had some salmon with dill, which is a go-to, and this root that I don't know exactly the name of, but I'll look it up and link it down below. It's not a Cantonese meal unless you have some soup before it, so that's what I'm having here. For dessert, I had this coconut agar jelly, and my sister is a huge fan.
It smells so good.
Since my boyfriend only brought a few of these from his home in LA, it was in limited supply, and so we decided to learn how to make these on our own right away after dinner. Since I had a meeting right away, I only ate half my breakfast and then left it back in the microwave to eat later. Definitely didn't get enough sleep last night, so I'm gonna go for a quick coffee run at the corner Starbucks. For lunch, I made this veggie and pork pasta, just throwing together whatever I could find in my fridge. Here you can see me struggling to pick it up with the chopstick. So I love it because it's gluten-free and it's made from brown rice, quinoa, and turmeric. And now back to work. For dinner, I had an office holiday party that I had to go to over Zoom, so of course, being the extra person I am, I created my own Zoom background with some pictures from the year. For breakfast, in addition to my sweet potato, I had this shrimp rice crepe, which is definitely a dim sum staple. Since I had a pretty busy workday, I didn't really film much until lunch. And for lunch, I grabbed this bagel from Whole Foods that is my absolute favorite gluten-free bagel. I'll definitely make sure to link it down below. I also found this lemon beet hummus from Whole Foods that I was super excited to try, and it's the perfect mix of savory and sour. It goes perfectly on this bagel. Then I added some smoked salmon from Costco, and voila, there you have it. There's my lunch.
Everybody's talking about the good old days.
For dessert, of course, I had my sensitive sweets once again. For dinner, I had my favorite stir-fried bok choy, some chicken, and tomato and egg, which is of course the ultimate Chinese comfort food. Believe it or not, I thought my entire life that I was allergic to shrimp, and either I never was allergic to it or I just grew out of it. But because of that, I only started eating shrimp a few months ago, and it's always a special experience for me. Surprise, it is not a sweet potato. This is actually a mochi waffle with dates that my mom decided to experiment with, and although it was kind of hard to chew, I still like that it was not too sweet. Oh no, have I become an Asian parent? For lunch, I just had a bagel, which is the same bagel brand as I mentioned earlier from Whole Foods, and I decided to add the same hummus again, and it was super good. So I'm a huge bookworm, and whenever I get the chance to, such as on a slower day, I love to just eat and read in peace and quiet. For dinner, since it was my mom's birthday, happy birthday mom, I got a bunch of sushi for the family, and it was definitely a feast. We could barely finish the food. Sunday, I went over to my boyfriend's to have brunch where we made pancakes and ate tons of fruit. My boyfriend taught me this novel method of placing the fruit on top of the pancake as I was eating it, and I tried it, but overall, I wasn't a huge fan since I was just thinking, it's just the same taste, just eating it separately, so I eat it together.
But I wasn't